Hello, it's Romania Black, and we are starting a new series today. And it is a series that I have been, probably of all the series on my channel, in all of the 6 years I have been reacting and discussing anime and manga and donghua and danmai, this is the series I'm maybe most nervous for, which is Re:Zero. And I will explain to you, before we begin, not only why I am nervous, but also how this is gonna go, because when tackling a giant series like this, there are ways that people recommend that you do things. There's ways that people recommend that you watch it. And I have consulted with lots of people over the last several weeks to define how I want to go about this reaction series. I've had a poll on my Patreon. So I'm Romania Black. I am a teacher. I am a speech and debate coach. And in my spare time, what little of it I have, I also react to anime and manga on this channel. So I have a Patreon. You can go check it out. But this series was voted upon several times by patrons for me to watch, and it kept coming up in polls, but it wasn't winning. And so I finally there's a video where I took the wheel of fate that I have on this channel, and I spun the wheel, and it landed on Re:Zero. So here we are. I am nervous because every time I've mentioned shows that people have recommended, when I mention Re:Zero, my brother, who is a gamer and watches a lot of anime and reads a lot of manga, he was like, ooh. He'd be like, your fans and your viewers, they really want to torture you. And that's all he would say, because as you all know, if you've been familiar with my channel, I am a blind reactor. I like to go in blind. I do not want spoilers. I do not want hints. I do not want clues. I like to analyze long form content. I like to figure it out. I love the mystery. I love to analyze character work. I love picking apart series, and I don't want people explaining things to me unless the mods feel like the explanation is warranted. So, couple things before we dive into this reaction, because I feel like it needs to be noted. So please pay attention, as it will help you in commenting and engaging in this content with me. I want this to be the best experience possible, because I'm actually really excited to dive into the show that I know nothing about, but have had so many requests for it. First of all, you are free to please comment down below. I read comments. Unlike other reactors, I try to read every comment I can on every show that I watch. But the stipulation is I have moderators that are going to be moderating those comments. If you give spoilers, hints, or clues, I will just say thank you, and I will not read your comment. I will not heart it. I will move on. So, and if I do heart it, that's just to get it out of my inbox, but I will not respond to your comments. So just know that if you want to save your wrists some carpal tunnel as you type your novels, just make sure there's no spoilers. Just trust and believe that your girl Romania will figure it out as she goes. And then, but let me know how you enjoy the reactions. Let me know parts about the episodes as we watch them that you enjoy, because I love talking about them with you all. So I'm excited about that. The other thing is that I have been working with several people to get this reaction series ready. There has been a lot of work going into getting this reaction series ready over the last several weeks. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Sunspots, because they got together the entirety of season 1. So I did a poll on my Patreon because people were like, oh, you need to watch the director's cut. Oh, you need to watch the original 25 episodes. Oh, you need to watch this. You need to watch that. Here's the thing. I have to be able to access the episodes. Season 1 is not very accessible, especially for people that want to watch alongside me. So there is that. Also, I need to do whatever my patrons prefer, because they are the ones paying me to watch these shows. I do not get paid by YouTube, so Patreon is my main source of income for this channel to keep me going. So that's what I did. So I did a poll, and 140 people voted, which awesome. Thank you all so much for voting. About a third of you didn't care. A third of you were like, we don't care. Whatever. We're here to watch your reactions and analyses. We don't care. 26% did want me to watch season 1, 1 episode a week. And then for season 1, 46% said they wanted me to watch the 13 episode director's cut. So I talked to the moderators, because those 26% of you, I do feel you. I see you. I think your thoughts are valid. So I talked with the moderators, and I am going the extra mile for you all. And I'm going to, at the end of watching each director's cut episode, I am going to be, before getting into the discussion, going back and watching the full episode, or episodes, for each episode, and then coming back so I can talk about it with more context. I'm doing the extra mile. Because I value your feedback and your thoughts about the series. The second thing is that Gus In deserves a massive shout out, because Gus In has organized all of the Chibis. There are Chibis with the director's cut. I didn't know this. My brother didn't know this. All my brother said when I told him that was, he was like, oh, add some levity. And I was like, what does that mean? And he was like, And so there's a Chibi series, and there's certain Chibis that go with each of the episodes of the director's cut. So we're going to be watching those before we dive into the discussion. So there'll be reactions to that. I am excited. I'm doing Chibis with another series I'm watching on my channel right now, and it's a lot of fun. It helps to ease a little bit of the tension, maybe after the episodes. Maybe that's why they exist. But yeah, so that's how I'm going to be doing it. The second thing to note is that I do not plan to read the light novels. I'm so sorry. I'm not usually a light novel reader. I read a lot. I do a lot of stuff for my job as an English teacher. I have a lot of reading I do outside the channel in real life, all on top of this. So no, I am not reading the light novels. So please do not ask. The answer will be no. You will not convince me. I'm a salesman's nightmare. So please don't try. You'll waste your breath. But I am going to ask the moderators if there are notes in the comment from the light novels that are not spoilers, but are pertinent to the episode and the context that I might want to note in the future. I'm going to talk with the moderators about that, about whether I can read that stuff. And one of the moderators has read the light novels. They're up to date. So please trust and believe that your girl has a well-organized team that will be looking at all this series to make sure that I understand, because I know this series is beloved by a lot of people, and I want to give you the best content possible. The other thing I want to note in this is I look at things honestly, and that's how I'm going to be analyzing this series. In one series, I had what we called a calamity corner, where I had my grievances at the end of the episode. If there's any of those, we'll probably do the same thing here. And because of YouTube and how it's structured, there will be a link down below to the reaction itself, and then we'll come back and do the discussion. So just check the description. You'll see the link there. But yeah, I wanted to be very blunt, very upfront and honest with you all, and preface all that because I'm excited about this series, but I know how daunting it is going in, and I've talked way too long, but hopefully you spent the time to listen to that. I'll be able to tell in the comments if you didn't. So the teacher in me will come out and I'll be like, read the damn syllabus. So that was the syllabus for ReZero. And now I have a 52-minute episode to watch. I'm really excited. I've got my coffee. I'm already sweating because it's blazing hot outside. But we're going to dive in. So thank you all. I'm so excited. Thank you all for helping me get this organized as well. We are going to start ReZero at episode 1 of the director's cut. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh, well. So I forgot to mention before starting that I do have 2 dogs. Sometimes my one dog, Huckleberry, will bring a toy down on my shelf here, and I reach down and throw it to him. So I should have probably prefaced that before starting if you're not used to the videos on my channel. But yeah, so okay. I did go back and watch episode 1, the original version, which when I saw there was only, I talked with the mods and they were like, okay, for episode 1 of the director's cut, you watch episode 1 of the 25 episode season with it, along with episode 1 of the Chibi shorts. And I was like, okay. And in my head, I was going, well, the director's cut being 13 episodes and the original series being 25 episodes, it would make sense for it being 2 episodes per season, but then that would mean 26 episodes. So it makes sense now because episode 1 is actually the same length as the director's cut. It's basically the same. Episode 1 is the same as the director's cut. It's a 50-minute long episode. The same stuff happened. I went back through and combed through it to make sure there wasn't anything left out or different. Nah, it's the same thing. So starting next week, it'll probably be episodes 2 and 3 with episodes 2 of the director's cut. That all makes sense now. The math is mathing. And then I'll just look through and see they've organized. When I tell you that this is all very organized, it's very organized. Gus In and Sunspots and Be Happy, who's helped to kind of orchestrate this, along with the moderators, y'all have done an amazing job because I feel like I'm in good hands. So I'll let you all know in the intro next week what Chibis are going with, what episodes, whatever. But I'm really excited. This episode is interesting. They just, look, it's an isekai-esque, they say, teleporting to another, being summoned and teleporting to another world. It's really funny because the other series I'm watching on my channel right now, as I'm recording this, is Lord of the Mysteries, which if you've not watched that series, you should go watch it. There are some similarities, a little wee bit. And I've seen another isekai before this series that was also a danmai, a Chinese danmai. So I'm a little familiar with the world building, and I've seen series like Delicious in Dungeon and Frieren. So I have a little bit of understanding about like the whole classes and stuff. It's kind of where Subaru is coming from. When I think of Subaru, I think of the vehicle. So it's funny. I was going to make a joke about it in the reaction, but then I was like, oh no, that's our main character's name. So, but yeah, so Subaru is very intriguing. We're going to be going through this episode. What I usually do in my discussions is that we go through when there's not a helper to help me with the episodes, which I have a feeling is going to happen in the future. Don't worry. You'll meet him when the time comes. I have a feeling it's going to be happening. This episode was a nice, straightforward as it can be, pilot to explain the situation. And I am already terrified as to what could go down because let's get into it. Let's just get into it. And I'll explain my nervousness to you all as we talk about this episode. So, I have questions, I have theories, I have ideas, I have character notes. We're going to start here in 3, 2, 1. The fascinating thing to me is that usually in like an isekai, the character dies and another person gets summoned into the world to take their place, theoretically. Or that character is in the world and another person takes their place by getting transmigrated into there, right? That's my understanding of isekai. Now, obviously, I've not seen a lot. My brother has watched several isekai, so he has a better grasp of how, different structures work, different, storytelling elements happen within it. But in this case, what's kind of fascinating is you have the beginning here where Subaru, they're saying, what's wrong? And I want to kind of go through real quick because the opening sequence where you see the floor and see the hand, it's from them getting attacked. But then we go to him at the supermarket. And so it made sense, like when it started resetting itself back, like at some point the Apple stand was the checkpoint. But my big question was, how did he get from a different plane of existence, a different dimension, into the fantasy world? And then it started to repeat. So obviously, the show is going to give us answers to that as we go, but already that has me kind of curious, like, well, how did we get there? How did that happen? Like, how did he end up from this world into the repeat cycle over there? Like, what is going on? And it seemed like Satella, get her name, our white witch. We have a black witch and a white witch. We have a wicked witch and a white witch, very Glinda Elphaba coded, where she seemed to know him from somewhere before. So has she met him before and didn't recognize him? Has this been going on and he doesn't remember? We're going to find out. I want to make note, this gas station, this mini stop, this convenience store here, this feels like the exact same mini stop that was in Death Note. I don't know if you've seen Death Note. This seems like the exact same mini stop. And I know they're popular in Japan, but this feels like the exact same scene. Like Light Yagami was standing right here in episode 1 of Death Note. Like I felt like I was having deja vu. So we meet Subaru. Subaru is our main protagonist. I like him so far. He has the very stereotypical kind of like, I don't want to use the word loser because he's not really. He has a good heart and everything. But he just kind of is a mid personality when you first meet him. Like he's just kind of like, when he said a less pressure generation, I was like, that is the most low-key passive word for privileged I've ever heard. And I'm going to be using it from now on. I'm going to be, you're from a no pressure generation. Because he really is. Like he clearly has a mom and a dad because he's contacted them several times. Mom, dad, and pizza were the main sources. So he has a functional family from what we know. Otherwise he wouldn't be in contact with them so much. He seems to have a decent life. There's nothing exciting that happens. He's the stereotypical protagonist where every day is kind of the same. He's just a gamer. He doesn't have anything else. There's not a lot of ambition there. He's just kind of passing the day one day at a time and nothing exciting happens. It is the most, it's the most blankest of slates to start out to relate to your audience that are watching. And so then there's the fantasy element of, wouldn't it be nice to transport yourself to a world where things were exciting and dangerous and had stakes and you grow as a person from them. And lo and behold, that is what happens in this episode. So I like Subaru. I think there were things that Subaru did in this episode that made him seem very naive, and there were things they did that I was like, oh, you're a teenage boy. You will learn, son. And then there's other things they did that were really sweet. And I thought, okay, there's a lot of potential. He has a good heart down there when he lets go of his insecurities. So that's good. But the whole revival element in this series, I was like, ooh, that is going to make for some craziness. So, but we're going to get into that. But yeah, I will be honest with you all. He grabbed all the stuff. I don't blame him for not getting natto. Banana fish has made me hate natto. I'm like Ash Lynx. But so in this moment here, I'm not going to lie. The only thing I truly know from isekai is the meme of someone getting hit by the bus and then transporting to another world. I full on thought that this guy was going to get hit by a bus or like a car was going to run him over, or like when he started to fade into the fantasy world, I thought that he was actually going to get hit by the carriage and it was going to simultaneously reveal him getting hit by a car, and then we end up in this world. So do we call this transmigrating? Do we call it isekaiing? Because he just kind of like, he says he gets summoned, but do we call it that, or does he get teleported? How does that work? We'll find out. I'm sure we'll find out more as we go. But in any case, he gets sent to this world and he's like, what is going on? For the record, I really love this world's design. I love it. It has a very, if you've ever seen the movie Summer Wars, if you've seen that movie, it has kind of a Summer Wars feel to it. Almost like an NPC, where it's like all the characters are like, some are animalistic. They call them demi-humans in this. I love the colors and the creativity and the vibrance, and it's all like just very spectacular. There's all these details. I really like the world building and the construction, and everybody has a different shape and design. It's very cool. You can find like little characters and pieces, and we'll get into Puck here in a little bit. I love the carriages are drawn by these dragons. I'm a little curious about, though, because there is a little bit of segregation that they talk about at the beginning. Like, some of the bars were for demi-humans only. So there were like lizard people and dinosaur people that were like playing poker and stuff in the bar. But then the carriages are led by dinosaurs and lizards. So I'm like, did some people get with the dinosaur? I was like, how does that work? I'm like, there's some prejudice that is being set up, like some classism that's kind of under the surface that's intriguing. And then you have like our girl Satella is half elf, so there's possibly some prejudice there. So is her other half human? Is her other half something else? Her spirit is a cat, so is that connected to it? Is she part cat, part elf? We'll find out. We'll find out if she's part cat person, part elf. We'll find out as we go. But it's giving a lot of intriguing possibilities, and I really like that. Of course, the one thing is, I guess, look, so he says, life in a different world from zero. So, okay, the insignia that we're looking for is in the start there. Like, you see the insignia behind the title card. So that insignia is of great importance, and now that we know that Satella is a witch, like Elsa, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be very curious indeed. Or I think Elsa's a witch. She strikes me as such. She has the same kind of design motif that Satella does, just she's in black instead of white. And she seems like they're connected, so we'll assume. We'll see what happens in episode 2. But yeah, so starting from zero, like he just keeps restarting the world. That's crazy. I always get nervous with stories where you restart and go back and replay and redo things, because like in this episode, Subaru was freaking me out because he redid things the first time around. We're going to see in episode 2 him try to backtrack and redo everything. But then when he came back, he assumed, he's like, oh, Satella will know who I am. Oh, Felt will know who I am. Oh, I'll just go back. I'll bypass all this stuff and go straight to the source. And I'm like, that worked in a sense. But then in another sense, I'm like, you didn't meet Satella. You didn't get, like, any backup. Like, And at the end of this episode, when he just confronts her and says her name, which we'll talk about when we get to it, I'm like, oh, she doesn't remember you. So you're starting all over again. And he's just dumb enough and naive enough that he doesn't get it at first. He's going to pick up real quick, I'm sure. But I was like, oh no. There's going to be some secondhand embarrassment, I'm sure, along the way with any time you like wipe a memory and restart it. But I really like Felt's design. She looks like a Final Fantasy character. And I mean that in the best way. I don't know what Japan's obsession is with like the one, like it's very Bulma from Dragon Ball Z, the one full length tight and the other one that's cut up as a short. The obsession with that design, I'm here for it. It's sweet. I love her big saber that she has. I like how fast she is. I like her little red scarf. The red, black, and tan elements are super cute. She just looks really great. I like Felt's design a lot. She looks like she'd be fun to cosplay as. Get a little bandeau top there. I think she'd be fun to cosplay. But yeah, this whole thing of all the carriages and stuff instead of the cars, instead of the traffic, like so much fun comparing to our real world. So she has the insignia. The insignia has some kind of importance because not only did whoever it was hire, there's been like a chain to get it. It did belong to Satella, then it was stolen by Felt, then it was going to be sold off to Elsa, and then Elsa was going to take it to another contributor. So there's like all this underground trading going on for this one little insignia that has a jewel in it that we don't know exactly what the point of it is or why it's important. Also, it doesn't quite fit the design motif of Satella herself. It's black with gold and has the red gem in the middle, and Satella is like white and purple with the green. So I'm like, did she take it from somebody else? Was it someone else's? You know, we're creating this entire mystery around this insignia, and it's in the logo or in the front title card, so you're like, it's got to be important. But yeah, my only thing that I will note is that the humor, I do like the humor where he's like, oh, I'll use my magic to save. This is where I first produced my magic. And then this night, this is my favorite part, where he saves the kid and he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. That part was hilarious. But I mean, I get that our main character, he's like gotten some protagonist syndrome, some main character syndrome, and he thinks that, well, I've been summoned here, so I must be the one that this entire world is revolving around. And very quickly, we're learning that, yes, you may be able to come back and replay this world over and over again, but these other characters are doing things without you having to be there. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes down. It really is. But my only thing is that I totally get that he understands how isekai works. He understands how getting transported into a game works. He's probably played games where all these elements are there. So that's why he's like, oh, I'm going to get magic now. Now I'm going to go on a quest. I'm going to get strong and do all this. He has all the preconceived notions of how these scenarios should go. And he thinks that he's been transported and is given the opportunity to inhabit and do this world for the first time. He even explains it later. He's like, well, sometimes these things just happen. And honestly, that's kind of a meta fourth wall breaking way to look at it, where it's like, yeah, the story just starts and somebody gets chosen. But what I will say is, in the other isekai-esque, I don't feel like this is a spoiler. You find out in the first episode. You're going to watch it, you're going to find out within the first 10 seconds. But in the other series that I'm watching, Lord of the Mysteries, in that one, the main character kind of recognizes that their family's off in another dimension and they kind of miss them, and they're like, oh man, I really need to get back to my other family and get back home. Subaru doesn't seem to give a shit. Subaru's just like, yeah, it's just time standing still back at home. No need to worry. So I was kind of expecting him to have like some kind of mention of like his parents or his family or, you know, things he should care about back in the real world. But I'm assuming that since he has been playing games and knows how these worlds work and the tropes, then he probably assumes that, oh, well, time back home has paused. And so I can do whatever I want in this world and it won't affect the real world. I'll just go back home whenever I need to or whenever my summons is over. He hasn't really talked about how he's getting back. Doesn't seem too concerned about that right now. He just thinks this is a game and for funsies. And then maybe he'll worry about that later. Whereas in Lord of the Mysteries, that character's like, oh, I need to get back home. How do I do that? And then it takes, the main characters take the scenario that they are in this type of situation very differently. And that's kind of interesting to compare and contrast because their characters start out sort of similar, although I have my biases. I'm not going to say that my biases, but you should watch the other series. But anyway, and compare yourself. But yeah, so our boy Subaru's like, what am I going to do? And so here, this is like what I'm interested in is why this is the checkpoint. Why is this the checkpoint to start at? Like the one question I would have is, if this is the checkpoint that he keeps coming back to, like this is the is it because the apple stand is the first the APA stand is the first one he talked to, and that's why this is maybe if he'd talked somewhere else first, that would have been the checkpoint, but this is the checkpoint because it's the first person he talked to. Why didn't he start out being isekai'd here and instead of in front of the fountain? So just little curious details about that. I do like this guy that runs the APA stand. He looks like Joe from Skate the Infinity. He looks like his uncle, but he has like a cherry, or is it mistletoe necklace? Anyway, the Chibi short that we watched at the end was really cute because it was explaining how the language is different here and Subaru's going to have to adjust and like learn some things, but he realizes that the wording is just a little bit off from what he's used to. So that's going to be interesting. Also, would never have imagined that the girl was this man's daughter, but now that I'm looking at him and see the green hair and the blue eyes, clever. Clever show. Clever. I'll give you points on that one. That's pretty good. But yeah. He's like, don't interfere with my business. And then he walks into the restroom, but because he can't read the sign, it's a restroom designated for females, so he leaves that. I like the paw slap. That was fun. And then he walks into here with these guys, and they're all playing cards, and they're like demi-humans only, and he's like, what? And then he falls into the river, which, you know, he could have died, but nah. Okay, if you are somebody that does anything with color theory, or, you know, you've done art as a major, minor classes in it, I love that his motif is orange and black and hers is white and purple because they're kind of like opposites on the color wheel. So that's fun. That's great. But yeah, so he's like, what should I do? Where'd my protagonist status go? Well, dude, you still have it. And then, yeah, City Hall. I wonder why City Hall's on there. Dad, Mom, pizza. But he's out of range. I'm glad he didn't destroy the phone. I thought for a second he was going to throw it. I'm glad that did not happen. And then he has, yeah, all his food there. I thought he was going to use the food in the bargaining, and I'm glad he got to repeat the timeline because his chips got eaten by old Rob in the first version or the second version of time. So interesting. So in his understanding of how this world works, he's summoned by a cute girl. Now, the cute girl does not necessarily summon him in the beginning unless she's dying and summons him, but he was there with her when she died, so there's a mystery there. But yeah, he starts out just kind of with these preconceived notions and tropes, and as he's about to get jumped by these guys, which the one guy in the center looks like a character out of, I don't exactly know what anime I'm thinking of. They all look like Hunter x Hunter characters, so that's fun. But he's like, aren't you going to save me? And she's like, no. I love that the women in this series so far, they're just like, okay, bye. Nah. So funny. Love it. She's just like, okay, see ya. And I do like that he realizes that he could fight these guys. I love the idea that he starts out punching the other two guys, and then when he goes for the third guy, he pulls out the sword. When he does it the second time, he gets rid of him first because he has the weapons. I was like, that's smart. That's thinking on your feet. That's applying. I got so stressed when he didn't wait for Felt. I was like, if he had stood there and waited for Felt to come around the first time, he could have stopped her and tried to bargain with her right there in the hallway and avoided Elsa. But that is neither here nor there. That is neither here nor there. We can't go back and change things. But yeah, and then he could have found Satella and went from there too, but he didn't do it. And I was like, what are you doing? So in any case, he's like, my adrenaline's surging. And then I love that immediately he's like, spare me. He's like, I don't want to die immediately. And that's when Satella shows up. Now, when she shows up and says that's enough, I love her entrance. Like, what a boss. Love her. I love the insignia on her, like, on her part of her dress. I love the purple translucent hair, the white purple translucent hair. It's so pretty with the rose. Love it. She's like, give back what you stole. So she thinks that they had the insignia. She thinks it's them. And they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. And when she looks, they're like, what we stole? She's like, hand it over and be good. And she's like, what strange clothes he has. And then she says, I'd have to say no if I had no connection to him. And they're like, then you've got no business with us. And she's like, I've got to go after her. So, okay, she didn't recognize him from before. I thought for a second that she recognized him, like she knew him from another time. Like this had been not the first time that time had repeated, but she didn't. So, okay, the episode itself is called End of the Beginning and Beginning of the End. So, if he was back at home at the convenience store and then gets thrown back in there. Is there a possibility that he has actually experienced this entire story and ended back up at the convenience store and then starts all over again back where he first started? Or he experienced like another journey with this girl and she didn't remember him, and then he started in another time with her. That's possible. Maybe that's how it all works. I reserve the right to develop my theories and change my opinions as we go. But I love her using magic. Her being a magic user, being half elf, and then when you find out she's a witch, totally makes sense. Totally get that. The Witch of Envy, though, is interesting. I don't know if the witches are going to be the 7 deadly sins, like if Elsa is the Witch of Wrath or the Witch of Pride and she's the Witch of Envy and there's going to be like a Witch of Sloth or whatever. That's going to be interesting. Girl can also make ice cubes appear out of nowhere, so that's a very important, useful talent. Puck is absolutely inspired by Berserk. There is no doubt in my mind. If you've never seen Berserk before, go watch a classic. Go read a classic. She has to be. Absolutely. The name, the earring, the fact that she's like a little spirit that flies around, like Navi going, listen, listen, Subaru, listen. Like I like Puck a lot. Puck is a fun little spirit. I like the idea that she's the gemstone during the day and then she comes out, or at night, and then she comes out during the day to help. Love Puck. Love Puck so much. But yeah, interesting. I guess at this point, before we get any further, we should look up some voice actors for this series. So Subaru's voice actor, and I'm going to look up the Japanese voice actors for these individuals. Yusuke Kobayashi, what has he also been in? Yusuke, what have you been in, sir, that I have seen? He's been in a lot. Oh, okay. He's been in My Hero Academia. He's been in Beyblade. That's fun. He's been in Oshinoko. Oh, he's Senku in Dr. Stone. Okay. Oh, I'm talking about being the main protagonist. I have watched Dr. Stone off channel before I even started this channel, and I've read the manga. So I have seen Dr. Stone and read Dr. Stone. But yeah, oh, Senku. That's so cool. Nice. Has he played anybody else that I would know other than those characters? He's been in a lot. So that's kind of cool. A lot of these I have not seen. He's been in Food Wars. My brother has watched Food Wars. He's been in Fire Force. And then, yep, in ReZero. I think a lot of these shows I have been recommended, but I have not seen. Okay, he's been in Boruto. Okay. Trying to get down here because I think ReZero is it's not like an old show, but it's pretty old. It's been around for a while. Okay. So yeah, no, those are the main two. So Senku. All right. Interesting. And then I want to look up Satella, Japanese VA. Who plays her? Her is Rei Takahashi. Rei Takahashi, has she been in anything that I would know? She's been in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Oh, she was Aoi in 100 Meters. I have watched that movie on this channel. So she's been Aoi. Okay, cool. Nice. She's a character in Delicious in Dungeon. She's been in Rurouni Kenshin. She's been Oshinoko too. Interesting. I've not seen Oshinoko, but I have been recommended it quite a lot. And then she's also been in a couple other... Oh, she's in Rent a Girlfriend. Girl, I'm so sorry. So sorry for that one. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Oh, she was a radio assistant in this movie. They used a car as the icon, which is pretty hilarious. Anything else that I would know? Looks like nothing else that I'm seeing on here that I haven't already seen. Curious. Oh, she was Mizuki in Bungo Stray Dogs, Dead Apple. Okay, nice. Nice. That's pretty cool. Love that for her. She's been voice acting for quite a while as well. Okay. And then she's been in just a lot of other series that people have recommended, so that's kind of cool. Nice. Also want to know Puck. Puck, Japanese, VA. Okay, Puck's voice is by Yumi Uchiyama. She has been in several things as well. Anything that I would know? She's been Kogias. Okay, nice. My brother has watched Reincarnated as Slime. Oh, she's Candace Catnip from Bleach. Nice. Absolutely cool. Okay, neat. Neato. And she's been in a couple other shows as well that I have seen. Cool. Nice. All right. The one girl that played the little girl, she sounded like Mayuri from Steins Gate. So, interesting indeed. I'm sure we'll get into other voice actors as we go, but that's fun. So, yeah. And she's like, you averted your eyes because you have a guilty conscience. I mean, I think that that's easy to determine that because he doesn't exactly know what's going on and he's made some assumptions about her. I do like that Puck is simultaneously trying to, like, at first be like a flirty matchmaker, but then she gets onto her later being like, oh, you have poor taste in men. I'm like, Puck, give this boy a chance. He has to start out at this mid-level so that he can grow and become a better character by the end of the series. That's the whole point. So, which I do appreciate that Subaru already has like a good quality to him. He has a good heart. He just is like awkward. And so he doesn't exactly know what to do in this world, and he's figuring out as he goes. And she, I don't know if y'all have seen Steins Gate, but I feel like our White Witch would be best friends with one of the main female characters of that series. I feel like they would be besties. I absolutely do. And yeah, and I feel like Subaru and the main character of Steins Gate would also probably get along as well. They both have like their awkwardness to them. I also appreciate the subversion of the trope where he like wakes up and thinks he's on Satella's lap, and then it's Puck. Puck's just blown up into a giant human size. That was really funny, and I like he's like gets up against the wall. That was cute. She's like, I was worth it to see you so happy. It's kind of unsettling to see Puck that big. I don't like it. It's a little bit creepy, just because I'm used to seeing Puck like flying around her being small. So that's interesting. So yeah, these two people have a good heart, and they both are like, he decides he wants to help her. One thing I really like about this scene here is that at first she's like, why would you want me to help find the insignia? And he's like, well, I'm doing it, because I want to do good. I'm going to do one good deed per day. And my one good deed is helping you to find this insignia. I like that he's not just doing it to curry favor with her. He's not just doing it to win her over or like some other ulterior motive. He's just doing it because he wants to be nice to her and has a good heart about it. And also he doesn't really know this world. So it kind of is killing two birds with one stone. In the process of helping her, he's probably going to become more familiarized with the world and figure out maybe some things about what's going on and how things work and etc. So I like that scene a lot. I like that he is just being nice, but he's, they're both kind of awkward about it, and they try to like give reasons for why they're doing things other than them just being nice. This is probably my favorite part, is when he tries to go into like, he can't read, so he tries to go in the do not enter place. Not that the cryptic boards up would tell you not to, but she's like, stop. That was probably my favorite part of the montage. That was really, really cute. And then, yeah, they end up at the end of the day still looking. And she's like, well, shall we introduce ourselves? I like his introduction. I thought it was really cute, where he says, I'm Natsuki Subaru. He looks like he's about to do like Boogie Nights. Disco. Like in the moment. That's really cute. Yeah, and I liked how honest he is. He's like, not only am I clueless, I am broke beyond compare. And Puck's like, this guy? Him? I'm Puck. Nice to meet you. I like she just grabs onto his hand. It's cute. So then she says, what is her name? She's like, you have no idea where you are. You have no money. You might be in a more precarious position. Now, when she calls him Subaru, he instantly blushes because in Japan, if you get on a first name basis, that's pretty special. That means you're really close. Now, she doesn't know that. So she just calls him on a first name basis out of, courtesy, right? Because like in the US, we don't go by our last names first. He's like, well, I'm a shut-in who's got to guard his house, so of course I work out. So we're getting little bits and pieces about him. He does seem close to his family, but he also seems like maybe he lives alone, so we don't exactly know how old he is. I'm going to guess he's like between 18 and 20. I'm going to guess if he's old enough to live on his own, but he still keeps in contact with his parents. But he also seems like, I don't know if he has a job. I don't know what that is. Or if he's just a slacker. I don't know. Or if he said truant as well, like, does he have a job? Does he work from home? How does that work? But yeah, she's like, I don't know what this shut-in is. But she's like, when she grabs his hands and then says, your muscles, you don't look like, your hands are smooth. It doesn't look like you've gained them. Basically, like, if your hands aren't calloused and stuff, she's like, oh, you're not a peasant. It's very medieval. I'm like, my hands are calloused as hell because I've worked around livestock. My family have a farm, so I've grown up as a farm kid, so my hands are calloused a lot, and I have like knots and stuff from working with it. But no, he has dainty hands. And she's like, my name. I liked the pause here. At the end of the episode, that pause makes more sense. Because at first I'm like, why'd she pause? And at the end, we find out she's a witch. And that title has importance. And so she says there, she's like, I'm Satella. And Puck is very surprised that she said that. I have no family name. You can just call me Satella. So I think Puck is surprised because that name clearly holds a lot of weight to it if she's a witch, like the Witch of Envy. So obviously, once people know her actual name, there's probably like a power that's associated with that name. So to say it to this guy you just met is like the first name basis. That's pretty crazy. And I like the Puck's like, you have terrible taste. She's like, you told this guy your first name? Okay. All right. Whatever. I'm like, Puck, you were trying to hook them up like 2 scenes ago. What are you talking about? So then we have this little girl and he's like, well, shouldn't we go find the insignia? Because that's important. That's my deed of the day. I'm trying to get on your good side. And she's like, well, we shouldn't leave this kid out because this kid needs some help as well. So I really like Satella's character. I really like her. I like that she kind of has this good heart that even though she clearly needs to find the insignia as well, she can't turn a blind eye to somebody that's struggling. And that in turn is going to rub off on our boy Subaru as we go. But yeah, I feel like this little girl, her voice actress was Mayuri from Steins Gate. I feel like they had the same voice actress. Also, I thought that the magic trick was really fun. I liked that at the beginning, there was I like a good callback in a story, and the 10-cent coin having a callback where he had the little 10-cent coin and he kept it because it was special. It was like, when you get like a buffalo coin or something on accident instead of a quarter, and if you're in the US you might get that, and you just keep it. It's not that it's worth more, it's just a different kind of currency, so you're like, oh, I'll keep that. I liked that it had a callback here. It had a purpose. Him having that at the beginning at the gas station, he ends up trying to pay for the apple and the guy doesn't take it, so then he uses it to do the magic trick to calm the girl down so that she'll help them with her finding her parents. Like, that was really cute. And also, the little magic trick gives you a little insight more into his character, and like, he's kind of a little trickster underneath, so that's going to be cool to see later on. But yeah, so he's like, people who don't know us will probably think we're a married couple with a child. I'm like, or they'll think you're kidnapping her. I mean, she doesn't look anything like either of you, so, but him kind of assuming that they'll get together, he's like, at best, I can't see you as anything more than her older brother. She's like, don't flatter yourself. She's like, we just met, dude. And that's when she finds the mom, who at first I was like, well, they don't look very similar, but then we meet the dad. That's actually a really good shot of them on the fountain. I might take a screenshot of that later. So yeah, what benefit will you insist that you got out of this? Finding the insignia will be my one good deed for the day. So yeah. And so then she says, I don't think making guesses on that's going to help you. And she says that she's half elf. Because he's trying to guess like how much age difference is between them. And she's like, well, I'm half elf, so I'm actually a lot older than you think. But it basically compliments her by saying elves are always beautiful. And she's like, well, I'm a half elf. And he's like, yeah, I heard you. So I thought this was such a cute moment because I wonder if she gets a lot of prejudice because she's a half elf. And that's why when he says that she's beautiful, she's like, well, I'm only half elf, so does that matter? He's like, no, I heard you. I'm still saying that you're pretty. And she gets really like, kind of flattered by that, but doesn't know how to show it. And then Puck is like, you, that's exactly what this is. It's like a you moment where she calls him out and she's like, I'm not mad. It's just, You silly, naive kids, you know, and he doesn't know the context of what saying that to her means. So she's like, you're such a dunderhead. She's a little Cinderella, but I like it. I like it. The compliment like really got to her. So then he applies his true crime skills and says, we need to revisit the crime scene and then go from there. And so we get back to the fruit stand. That's where they were first noticed. And wouldn't you know it, their good deed came full circle and allowed them to make good with the shop owner. Love that. Now see those genetics, I get it. I get it entirely. So yeah, he's like, you know, I'll give you any information you want. So the information that they want leads them to this sketchy part of town, which there's a cool little commentary here as they're walking through. It looks pretty grim. Everyone here, it looks like a cross between, you know, Children of the Corn and Majora's Mask. Like it looks a little, or in Ocarina of Time, the N64 version, when you walk in the village and everybody's kind of zombies, that kind of is what the vibe here is. The attitudes of people living here are awful. Well, yes, it seems pretty destitute. No one would sell out one of their own, so I don't think that they can ask anybody. Yeah, they're not going to snitch. So then we find out that Puck uses a lot of mana to take their physical form. And they mentioned the ode, so I was like, oh, again, Berserk references. Interesting. I do love this shot here of like the different little green bits that she becomes. Like, that's so cool. Love that. So then she's like, well, what I will do is ask the lesser spirits if they can help. Communing with the lesser spirits, I feel like she has some kind of connection, not based on her being an elf, but something else. Like she has Puck, who's spiritual, surrounding her. She can talk to lesser spirits. I'm like, is she a ghost type gym leader? I'm very curious to learn more about Satella. I am indeed. This was a pretty moment too, though. And again, our main protagonist getting to see his lady love interest having all these cool powers. Like, she's awesome. I love Satella a lot. She has magic. She's smart. She's pretty. Like, what is there not to like about her? It's getting lonelier and lonelier. So yeah, this guy knew what was up. He sent them straight to that house where that witch was at. He was like, go on. Maybe you'll find her there. Like, he knew exactly what he was doing. Dang, try to negotiate it and get it back. So yeah, the fact that she was hiding out in this house is super creepy. Or maybe she had just killed the man and was waiting for Felt to come back. Or maybe she'd already killed Felt. Or maybe she like attacked Felt and Felt ran off. I don't know. Maybe she was waiting for Felt to come. I'm curious what went down in this first timeline, because in the second timeline, Felt comes while it's still dusk and meets with the woman, and then she had the insignia. So in this timeline, Rom is dead and she's still in the house, but Felt is gone. So either Felt got killed too, and we didn't see her body, or she ran away. But did the woman get the insignia? If she didn't, then why was she still there? So I'm like, I wish we knew more context of this first scene. They're like, that was awfully easy. No. She's like, I'd be lying if I said you hadn't been holding me back. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's good that he has realized going into this that she used magic to save him against the bullies before, right? So I feel like him kind of getting a big head, and not that he got a huge head in this, but he kind of was like, I'm the protagonist. I'll go in first. I'm like, dude, you just got here. And he gets killed one-shotted like that. I'm like, what you should have done is both of you went in together and she used her magic like right from the start. So hopefully they start out with that going into this next episode, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So, especially since she doesn't know who he is anymore. He's like, well, I'll go in and check it out, negotiate, and if it all goes well, then I'll come back and it'll be a bonus. And she's like, okay. That went horribly. That was a terrible idea, in fact, and not one you should have done. So yeah, she's like, if I can get my insignia back, I'll apologize. Now, she says that's her insignia. So it doesn't look anything like her, but I wonder why. I guess we shall find out. But yeah, going in here, looking at all these, the moment we saw the creepy Annabelle doll, I, because my brother said that he was like, ooh, this show's gonna be rough. Because he said that, I had anticipated it being gory. And gory it is. Gory it very much is. The animation almost is kind of cutesy, so that when it does get gory, it's like, oh, But the concept of him continuing to die and come back and repeat things Groundhog style, that could get terrifying, and I'm not looking forward to that. In the best way. I'm excited to watch it and see what happens, but I don't know if my heart is going to feel good with that happening. Because, yeah, he just straight up dies. He sees the guy there and then straight up dies. And that's it. Yeah, he just gets stabbed. And she's pretty sadistic. And then she ends up dying too. Of course, there's the single little pool of light that her hand's in, and his hand goes over hers. You know, it's good. I'm not going to be mad at it. It's very cinematic. I like it. It's the one little pool of light. It's adorable. I like it. It's fine. It will probably be the thumbnail if I'm being real. So, and then he starts back here at the stand. I feel like because the stand is like, it's this checkpoint because there's so much tied to it, but I'm also like, what do we do with this? So, crazy, y'all. I'm very curious what we're going to get in the next episode and why he keeps coming back to that. I'm very curious. So yeah, Satella. I didn't ask that I take care of her. I do like that we redo this one in this moment. I'm curious why Felt didn't come by this time. I guess he didn't wait long enough. I like that he's so much more confident. But then he just runs straight to where she was at, and I was like, dude. So then he goes in, sees this guy, talks with him, gives him the chips, waits for Felt, and then that's when he runs into her as it's dusk. Yeah. And he's like, oh, you want my insignia? What are you going to bargain for? The thing is, they both seem... I like that expression. That was funny. They both seem like decent people. They clearly are trying to survive in the slums, and they say so as much. But they did hear him out, and they did seem willing to trade for the cell phone, which the cell phone saying that it freezes time and it's taking the pictures, that was clever. I like that Subaru, he can be naive, and he can kind of forget to ask important questions sometimes, but he does have some ingenuity and know-how to him. He's not completely dumb. Not all the time. He just gets a little socially awkward in places. So I like that being set up with his character. He also talks about how the only thing when he said the comment about, oh, in this world you can tell like the economic discrepancies and the gaps, they're a lot more noticeable. I'm like, well, depending on where you grow, I felt like that was his pressureless generation showing through, because in my brain when I heard that I was like, well, depending on where you live, sometimes those gaps in wealth inequality are pretty noticeable as well. But it just shows like from his perspective where he's grown up, he hasn't noticed that before. So again, our character's gonna be growing. He's gonna be doing some development in this series, which I'm excited about. So yeah, then in comes our bargainer. She comes in. Yep. That worked with our dear Felt here. Yeah. I like that she has the beauty mark. She has the purple and black. Looks like a poison type or a dark type gym leader. She's got the moon and the thing on her. I love how she seems so simple and innocent, but is absolutely not. As one knows, and she keeps licking the milk off her top lip, you know, as one does. Her outfit is completely impractical. I feel I'm just going to give you all my overarching thoughts, and we'll just get it out of the way now, because I'm sure it's going to happen in this series. None of these animators, either none of them are women, or they did not consult any woman. How in the history of fantasy gear and fantasy costuming have no women been consulted to ask how your breasts in an outfit fit? because that woman is in no way comfortable. She is in no way comfortable. And if she is her own woman, capable of picking her own clothes, she would choose things a little bit differently. I am not blessed with the endowment that our woman Elsa has, but I have friends that are, and they'll be the first to tell you that no. No. So yeah, there were no women consulted on the costume design of any of these characters. I am 1000% convinced. Until you show me the receipts, I'm going to assume not. But yeah. So anyway, he takes a picture of her and she's like, well, isn't that nice? She brought 20 gold coins, even though they look silver. 20 coins. I want to see what's on there. On the coins, there's trees and these dragons. So that's interesting. And I like that Rom stuck up for them. I like that Rom stuck up for the kid. He was like, hey, you know, the phone's worth at least that, so don't just give it over. I was really expecting Felt to be like, well, the money's right here, right now, and yours is just speculation, so I'm going to take the gold coins and go. And then he was going to have to try to talk no jutsu his way out of it. So I'm surprised that she said no. And then that's when, and I think, honestly, Elsa might have walked away. Maybe, because she's like, what do you intend to do with the insignia? And look, sweet baby Subaru. Mm-hmm. If you knew, this is lesson number 1. You've learned the hard way. When you're going after something that was stolen from someone, what you're going to do with it, and you say you're going to take it back to the person it was stolen from, nobody here in this room is going to want to hear that, because that defeats the whole point of what they did. Why would you say that? And then, because in that moment, Rom and Felt are like, oh, and Elsa's face, you're with them then. And I was like, oh shit, it's going down now. She's like, oh my God, she's fierce. I like Elsa. She is a fierce person indeed. And who is them? Them is them referring just to Satella? Or is them referring to an organization? Is them referring to anyone else? Like, what do we do? I almost want to look up who her VA is, just real quick. Mamiko Noto. Who else has she played other than that character? Has she played anybody else that we know? She's been in a lot of series too. She's been in Fairy Tale. My brother likes Fairy Tale. Oh, she's Anshi from Apothecary Diaries. And she's Millard from Frieren. That's where I recognize that voice. I'm like, I recognize that sultry voice from somewhere. Where is it from? Okay, and she's Mitsumi's mom and Skip and Loafer. Nice. Cool. Okay. All right. Neat. And she plays Katagiri in Bleach. Okay. I was like, her voice sounded very familiar. She has such a pretty sultry voice. I was like, who's she be? And that's it. Okay. Nice. But yeah. So then also it's kind of badass to see her be so quick. Like just slice. Like the series didn't make a bunch of fanfare out of it. It was just like, oh, here it goes. And you're like, it just happens. And you don't even see it until it's already occurred. Although the glass from the milk jar shoved up into him, that was a lot. Indeed. And then she kills Felt in this version. So yeah, I wish I had as much trust in anybody in the human race as she does with that top. I wish I had as much trust in humanity as that woman has in that top right now, because there's no way. There ain't no way. Ain't no other way. So I am curious, because now our boy Subaru has not only the knowledge that he's been responsible for Satella's death at the hands of this woman, but also Felt's death as well. So if he wants to go back and redo things, it's going to be interesting to see where we go to from here. And she's like so sadistic. Like just the fact that she sits there and stares at him as like he's dying. Oh, that's so crazy. And then he goes back to the beginning. Only this time he faints and gets the water splashed in his face. What I thought was interesting was that the first time around, he's like, oh, you don't have any money, shoo. The second time around, the guy's like, oh, no, you're not here for an apple? Okay, then keep walking. This time around, because he faints, the man reveals that he actually has a kind heart and takes pity on him, and he's like, well, here, just take the apple and the drink. You don't need to pay me. So That's interesting. Except I don't think I'm hoping he doesn't faint a third time and come here. So then he's like, hold up. And then he says Satella, and everybody stops. Because that name, he's like, me dying and not doing what you said, you know, it wasn't my fault. I was desperate. And I couldn't find you. I'm glad you're all right. And she's like, I don't freaking know you, man. She's like, you know my first name? I've never met you. And so then, what does she say there to him? Because, yeah, she's like, what are you thinking? Because what does she say there? She says, I don't know who you are, but don't call me by the name of the Witch of Envy. So, okay. She said Satella was her name. Okay, so the Witch of Envy, did she give him the name of someone else instead of herself? And that's why she paused? Okay. Okay. So she's like, Satella is the name of the Witch of Envy. I'm not her. So her name is something different. Okay. And maybe she just told him that because she didn't trust him all the way? Or because she's like, he's naive and doesn't know? So, interesting. And maybe that's why Puck had the reaction as well, being like, why'd you say that as your name? Curious. Maybe she also thought he would, like, say her name on accident out loud to the wrong person, and she didn't want that to be known, so she gave him a fake name of someone else, this Witch of Envy. Curious. So he's going to be like, what? I'm very curious how this is going to go. Okay. Ooh, and I like in card it says begin, the end of the beginning and the beginning of the end. It says begin. I will say, if I don't see another anime whose first episode is called the end of the beginning and the beginning of the end, I've seen like 3 at this point, but I understand why they do it. I get it. It's a cliche, but it's effective. Anyway, so, okay. All right. Whew. So episode 1, eh? I am intrigued. I'm very intrigued now about Satella and finding out more about her character, about Elsa, about this other potential witch, about how they're going to go about getting this insignia back, what they're going to do the second time around, and also how he's going to convince her to help him since she doesn't remember who he is. So that's going to be interesting. But yes, so I'm excited to hear your comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this reaction and discussion. It's going to be fun to go through ReZero Season 1 each week with you all and then go from there. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more ReZero. And I'll see you then. Bye.